Hi teachers, in this video I'm going to show you how to access, interpret, and download your student progress reports. So after you've logged in and you have access to all of your active classrooms, select the one that you're interested in at the moment. For me, that's my STARI Boost course. And just like with most other functions on the teacher's side, you can access your reports in two different ways. The first way is by clicking on the image part of the classroom card. This brings me by default to my class activities page. If you have a tab that says Advanced, click on it to expand, and then click on your Student Locator tab. So I'm going to show you the second way. It's much faster. Is just click on the little graduation cap on your class card. It'll bring you right to your student locator page. So to summarize, you can access your student data by clicking on the image part of your card and then clicking on the student locator tab, or you can just click on the student locator icon right on the classroom card. So I'm going to do that here, and then we'll take a look at some of the reports that are available to you. So the first report that might pop up for you is the class proficiency report. If it doesn't pop up right away, it's available in the drop-down menu and it can be selected. This is where you can get a high-level overview of your students' skylines. So just as a reminder, each of the columns on this graph represents one domain or major concept in your course, and each little block that makes up the column represents one standard or lesson. So as your students work, these blocks will be filled in with dark blue as they master the standards, and light blue means that those standards are in progress or that they haven't been mastered yet. So it looks like so far I only have 3 students that have started working. I have Camille Francis. So it looks like she's mastered 1 standard so far, and she's working on or has attempted 4 more. I have Rachel, and I also have Shawnee. If you want to take a closer look at an individual student, you can certainly just click on their skyline. So I'm going to take a closer look at Shawnee. And this zooms in for me, the skyline, so I can get a closer look at what the major topic is, which is consonant sounds. And I can click into each of these blocks or lessons that Shawnee has already mastered. So I can see the individual lessons and standards now that each of these mastered concepts is tagged to. So that is the overview of the class proficiency report. Another report that will probably be very useful is the class progress report. This might also be your default page. If it's not, again, it's selectable from the drop-down menu as Class Progress Report. So the Class Progress Report shows you some information about competencies or standards, time spent, scores, the diagnostic status. If the students are taking a diagnostic, it will either say in progress, not started, or completed. And then additional information about badges and suggestions. Let's focus on the competencies information here. Gained competencies, and this reflects the skylines we saw on the previous page. Gained competencies or standards are lessons and topics that the students have mastered. In Guru, mastery is rated at 80% or better. So I can see that Camille has mastered or scored 80% or better on 1 standard so far. Rachel has mastered 2, and Shawnee has mastered 4. In progress standards, these are ones that the students have started but just not finished, or they might have finished them but haven't mastered them. So if a student submits an assessment or a lesson and scores less than 80%, it will show up as in progress because it hasn't been mastered yet. You can also get an overview of how much time your students are spending, and it's broken down by collections, assessments, and then a total. And you're also shown the average score on all of those assessments. If you'd like to take a closer look at what the students are working on, you can click on the student's name. So Camille, I can see gained or mastered 1 competency and is in progress on 4. So that's slightly concerning to me. It means she's either just started and stopped working on 4 different assessments, or she's tried 4 of them and hasn't mastered them. So I'd like to click in and see maybe what's going on here. So I can click on Camille and I get a breakdown of what she's been doing. So I can see the standard here. I can also see the name of the collection or assessment. I can see the time she spent, and I can also see scores. So just as a reminder, this little waffle icon stands for collection, and those are just resources like videos or practice questions. And so the only metric here is time spent. Since it's practice, we don't assign a score to it. So I can see on these collections, Camille has spent not very much time, especially on this one. She only spent 4 seconds. Then on these 2 assessments, I can see a score, and assessments are marked by this percentage sign. So her first assessment was Practice and Coding Group 1. She scored a 50%. And then Practice and Coding Group 2, she scored 100%. So I can click in further and I can see how much time Camille spent on each question. So if you need a breakdown of what students have been working on over any given time period, you can select a specific date or date range using the calendar icon. So I just clicked up here, and you can select a day, a week at a time, a month at a time, or a specific date range. So if you'd like to look Wednesday to Wednesday or over the last 12 days, you can select a start date and an end date on the calendar and then click Submit. And you can also select all time. So this is from the beginning of the class creation, which was February 9th for my class, to the current date. So that's changeable up at the top. And you can also download and print these reports for the whole class and for individual students by clicking on this download icon. So to summarize all of that, to access your student reports, the fastest way to access them is to click on the graduation cap icon on your classroom card. And then you have a drop-down menu. I skipped the domain competency report for now. I think the 2 most important and useful are the class proficiency report, which shows you a summary of student skylines, and the class progress report, which gives you a breakdown of gains and mastery and also time spent and average score. These can be changed for the date that they cover by clicking on the calendar, and they can be downloaded using the arrow icon in the upper right-hand corner.